In the summer of 2023, murals were painted in his honour, his name chanted throughout the city, and one of the biggest promises of football Napoli has seen since the Maradona era. Victor Osimhen and his teammates turned Naples on its head that season, winning the Scudetto and being a breakout star, along with former teammate Kvaratskhelia and many others. But as soon as Osimhen and Napoli had reached the top, it all seemed to come crashing down on the Nigerian, and instead of going on to play for the biggest clubs in the world, he ended up at the Turkish side Galatasaray. But how did he end up there, and will he make his big move this summer? Let's take a look at what happened. In the 2022-23 season, Victor Osimhen had his breakout season and put himself on the map. His achievements were plenty, winning the African Footballer of the Year, the Italy Player of the Season, as well as becoming Serie A's top scorer with 26 goals, securing Napoli their first Scudetto in 33 years. And not to sound ridiculous, but this is what Napoli wanted out of Osimhen. He wasn't some random kid they just recruited. They had paid Lille 77 million euros for the striker, making Osimhen the most expensive African player ever. But the first cracks of failure started to show before the next season had even begun. Spalletti, Napoli's manager who Osimhen had thrived under, joined the Azzurri to lead the team to the European Cup in 2024, with Rudi Garcia taking over as head coach. And not to be too harsh, but this guy failed miserably. Napoli had recorded their worst record after their first 5 Serie A matches since 2015, even though Osimhen had scored a brace in his first game of the season and scored again in his second. Now, Napoli faced Bologna on game day 5, where everything kicked off. Osimhen had the chance to put Napoli in the clear by taking a penalty, but missed throughout the game, not putting away chances, and then, in the final minutes of the game, Garcia decided to substitute the striker. Osimhen was visibly angry at the manager, having a heated debate on the touchline, having told him that keeping 2 strikers up front would have made more sense when the side needed a goal. Garcia then later stated that the missed penalty happens to the greatest players in the history of football. Then I obviously spoke to him about his exit, but what I said to him and the team remains in the locker room. Now, you'd think a team would support their golden boy by consolidating him after missing a penalty and come to his aid, but Napoli took a different approach. They decided to post a TikTok. A TikTok that is not only offensive and widely viewed as racist, but it was just ridiculing him, making fun of him for having missed a penalty in the last game. And surprise, surprise, Osimhen didn't like that. Wow, who would have guessed that? I just need to interject here and say how insane and crazy that is, that this wasn't just posted by a troll account, but the official Napoli TikTok account posted this, mocking their player who was the Serie A top scorer last year. Osimhen then deleted almost all photos on his Instagram account which were with Napoli, especially the one which was with him winning the title, and his agent had also threatened to pursue legal action with the club for defamation. Now you'd think Napoli would apologise for this incident and people at the club would come to his aid. Well, think again. Not only did he not receive a proper apology from the team or from Napoli officially, they just said they never meant to mock or offend Osimhen, and Garcia labelled the situation as a bit of trouble with some clumsy behaviour. I mean, this affects me nothing whatsoever, but this just makes me furious. How was he able to label this as clumsy behaviour? And it just keeps going downhill from here. Rudi Garcia was sacked only a few games later, luckily, with 2 other managers coming in throughout the season until Conte took over. During that time, Osimhen had injured himself, but was back on his feet before the Africa Cup of Nations, where he reached the final, but just missed out on gold with his team. But the rumours were all over the place when he returned to Europe. Everyone, of course, knew about his situation, and most people were expecting him to make his childhood dream come true and move to Chelsea in the summer, with Osimhen himself stating, "At the end of the season, I think I already made up my mind. I already know what I want to do in my career since I've started. I've been the one taking my own decision, and everything is working out well for me. Even though when I started it didn't go so well as planned, but I already have my plan. I already know what I want to do, the next step I want to take. So for now, I just want to finish the season strong, go relax somewhere with my daughter, and then finally come up with the decision I've already made." The transfer didn't come to fruition though, as Osimhen was not willing to cut his wage demands, and by the end of the window they decided not to go through with the signing of the Nigerian on deadline day due to their new wage structure, which is based on performance play. PSG was another team that were in official talks, but were unable to agree on a fee with Napoli, and Osimhen was also not willing to accept a lower salary. Now, on top of this, Napoli appointed Antonio Conte in the summer, and he wasted no time in making his position clear, bringing in striker Romelu Lukaku from Chelsea, freezing Osimhen out and excluding him from Napoli's squad list, and for the cherry on top for disrespect, stripped him of his number 9 jersey. Now, it was already August, and the transfer had to happen soon. And the money came to them. Al Ahly came through offering a monster deal, offering him €40 million annually on a 4-year contract and paying Napoli €80 million for the striker. And just as Osimhen thought he was going to be bathing in cash, Napoli demanded an extra €5 million for the striker in the last minute, causing Al Ahly to get up and walk away from all negotiations and leaving Osimhen stranded. And at this point, all hope seemed lost. The transfer market had closed for most teams, and it seemed like Osimhen would not be able to play until the January transfer market would open. But Turkey's transfer market was still open, and with his idol Didier Drogba having played for Galatasaray, Osimhen made a 1-year loan deal to the Turkish side with no fee attached and earning €6 million for the year, meaning Napoli was picking up the remaining fee. And since his arrival, to nobody's surprise, Osimhen has been dominating the league, being current top scorer and looking to win the Turkish league. What is for sure though is that Osimhen will be leaving Galatasaray this summer, and according to Napoli president Aurelio De Laurentiis, Osimhen will be sold to the highest bidder, which means a Saudi team with endless money might steamroll his dreams to play at Stamford Bridge. Alright, thank you very much for watching this video. I'd be interested to hear what you think of the Osimhen situation and the way he was treated by Napoli, and which team you think he might end up with this summer. Let me know if you enjoyed the video in the comments and by liking the video, and if you'd like to see more of these videos, make sure to subscribe. I'll see you in the next one. Bye!